Hi everybody, welcome along. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. We're on episode number 6 already and it's going great. I'm loving the quality of guests we're getting in. We're having some great chats. It's such fun and I hope you guys feel the same. I know I've had some great responses from some of you guys who are listening out there and thank you for that. It means so much. So if you're a new listener, I would advise actually go back and listen to some of the old podcasts as well before this. If you're an existing listener, well, a massive thanks to you guys for sticking throughout and just keep on listening because we've got some great stuff coming up. Second thing I want to say is last podcast that I put out, and it has been happening a little bit at times, is that there's been slight delays or there's been a bit of an overlap in the audio recording, and that's just one of those things I can't do a lot about because I'm interviewing people that might be in a different country. We're using our own Wi-Fi's that maybe aren't great connections right now because everybody's locked down and we're all using Wi-Fi at the same time. Netflix galore, you name it, everybody's on the internet. So I apologise if there's any sort of delays in the recording or overlaps with the speech between myself and the guest. I would love to be able to do a little bit more about that, and I will work on that and I will do more research. But in the meantime, again, like I said, I can't thank you enough for joining me, sticking with me. I would really love it if you guys could give me a review on whatever platform it is you're listening to. And if you could pass the pod to your friends, your family, your colleagues, that would be amazing. So not to take up too much time on this intro, I want to get into my next guest. It's Ammari Diedrick. Enjoy. Hey Ammari, welcome to the podcast.
How are we, mate? How are we?
I'm all good, mate. Are you?
Living and breathing.
I love that, living and breathing.
Living and breathing, man. That's all we say, man. Always.
And that's all we can do right now. There's not too much else to do, so.
Nah, man. Live and breathe and enjoy the fresh air, man.
Yeah, that's it. So I know you're quite familiar with the format of the show, so we're going to get into getting acquainted with you so the listeners can find a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
So we'll go from the top. Full name?
Ammari Diedrick.
Age?
25.
Occupation?
Professional Thai boxer / kickboxer.
And what was the last meal you ate?
Burger. 4 lamb chops. Chicken kebab. I had 2 chicken legs and 1 thigh.
Oh my God. That's a proper meal, that is, man.
You gotta live.
Put me to shame.
For the liver, man. Eating for the liver, man.
It is. PlayStation or Xbox?
Obviously, Xbox, innit? Come on.
Nah, obviously not.
You got the vision there. You see that divide?
It's all about the PlayStation, man. I tried Xbox for 1 year.
Bro, listen, yeah.
Went
Not
back
that.
to PS.
Only because I'm a Halo guy, innit? Like, that's what it is.
Right,
See
okay.
them, I'm a Halo and Gears of War guy, innit? So that's me right there.
And I take they're exclusive to Xbox, yeah?
Yeah, man. That's what it is.
Right, okay.
Them 2 games there, that's why I'm here.
Fair enough. All right, so next one for you. What's your favourite party trick?
I ain't got one, so I'm just going to say, like, my hand and feet, innit? Just, the skills there.
Yep, skills, no tricks.
Oh,
favourite alcoholic beverage?
Strawberry daiquiri.
Yeah, I love a strawberry daiquiri, man.
Oh,
especially in this kind of weather.
It's right now, yeah.
Frozen.
Frozen strawberry daiquiri. You get your straw, you get your little umbrella on it. You're nice, man.
Strawberry daiquiri just takes me back to Ibiza. That's what it reminds me of. If you could choose a nickname for yourself, what would it be?
Obviously, the Destroyer.
The Destroyer. I love it. It's like a Nigel Benn kind of thing.
Yeah, man.
Beef or chicken?
Obviously, we'll go with the creme de la creme beef.
Why beef?
Chicken's an everyday thing. And I'm a steak guy as well, so because I have chicken kind of like all the time, I don't have beef a lot, so when I do have it,
it's like a special occasion.
I've done that medium rare steak, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you've got it right. And they add that one, that pulls it back for the Xbox, man. I'll give you that. So, what's your last thought before you sleep?
To be fair, all I think about when I'm lying back is either family or just fighting.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So just we can try. I can kind of intertwine them together where I want to make sure I'm doing good in my career to make sure my family's good and supporting them. So that's what I think about.
That's nice, man. That's important. Do you know what I mean? That's fundamental
Always,
things. Family comes first, but obviously
always.
you've got your goal, your career. So just segueing straight into that, you're a professional kickboxer or Muay Thai boxer,
Mm-hmm.
Muay Thai kickboxer, however you want to put it. How did that come about? Like, what age were you when you first got into that?
So I first got into it when I was 11 years old.
Mm.
Which happened, I started secondary school and I got banged in the face by a year 10 kid,
Wow.
crying. I think he wasn't
Yeah.
even scared on it. So literally after that, mom took me to a gym in Derby called Studio 2000 in Stockbrook. Was
Yep.
there, started training there. By the time I literally just thought, this is me. Yeah, I'll find my calling. This is what I want to do. And I literally just stopped with it from there.
Do you remember that year 10 kid's name? You don't have to say it. I'm just wondering if you remember his name.
I don't remember his name, but the next day, he got handled anyway. Like I told him he wouldn't. So
I'm
that's the
just
first
thinking
thing.
though, like, one of those things, one of those incidents takes something like that and it triggers something,
Trigger
and
something
it made you go to Muay Thai, and
different.
before you know it, you're living this totally different life. So I'm going to
Different
go
life.
too much into now. I'm going to flash forward too far in case people don't know about him. We can build up to that, but
Yeah.
Muay Thai, for people who don't know, Muay is meaning combat. That's what it means. And they call it the science of 8 limbs because it's the use of punches, kicks, elbows, and knee strikes. I'm very much into UFC myself. I haven't dabbled as much into the world of kickboxing. I used to watch some of the old K1 and stuff like that. I'm just mad for the fighting. I don't know. I think a lot of guys are the same. But I've watched some of your sparring and stuff like that, and you guys are ruthless. It's just when I'm watching you, it's kind of like it's like you're just letting each other. You'll throw some kicks and punches and stuff like that, and then you kind of step back. The other guy comes in, starts hitting you up. It's like it's not even like you're shying away from it.
Nah, I think it's hilarious. Like the sparring is just it's hilarious, man. Like you just
It
be
doesn't look
laughing, enjoying it.
hilarious, mate.
I love it. I think it's hilarious, man. It's just funny, like especially in my gym. Like my gym, you go very hard. Some gyms
Yeah,
don't, but we do. And obviously, with certain people, I go harder because we've been acquainted and we're very close. So certain guys I will go harder with. I don't know, like to say, like on a Thursday morning, we get a lot of guys coming from all over the country, whether that be from up north or West Midlands or down south.
yeah,
I just put it on them, man.
yeah,
But they enjoy
yeah.
it, so they come back again.
You've got to have something in you though to be able to go in and do that. I mean, I've done some sparring in the past. I used to do a little bit of boxing and stuff like that,
Mm.
and I didn't like getting whacked. You know what I mean?
No, I
I was
don't
just,
know.
I was trying to hit people. I was trying to move and stuff, but I got hit a little bit too much, and but yeah, I didn't like it, and I don't know how. When I'm watching you, and there's leg kicks as well. I mean, I did train some kickboxing quite a few years back. I've done some jujitsu, done quite a few different things, and even through those thick pads that you're holding against your thigh, somebody kicking you, and somebody that's not even like a professional like yourself, kicking through one of those pads, somebody's just got a decent kick, somebody who played a bit of football or something, has got a bit of power.
Some people just got that natural horsepower, man.
But
Natural horsepower.
through a pad, kicking. I mean, I did it with my brother-in-law. I took him up one time, and I was kicking through a pad against his thigh, and I put him down. And that's for a big pad. And I'm seeing you guys doing that in sparring
Just whacking
without
each other, man.
without without no like protection.
I was whacking the life out of each other, man. But you have to, though. I feel like, I don't know, the sparring thing is a bit of a dark horse, and some people like to spar, some people don't. I enjoy it sometimes. Obviously, there's sometimes where I don't enjoy it because I'm just bored of sparring
Yeah,
with the same people. But this year, well, obviously, beginning of this year and last year, the team started to grow, so we started to get a lot of different guys in. So I was enjoying it again.
yeah.
Then obviously, I went to Holland last year, where I came up with basically a concussion non-stop because I was sparring every day. Yeah,
Wow.
man, this was different, man. Love
I
it.
suppose you've got to get conditioned to it, so you've got to feel that power, and you've got
You
there's
have
no
to
point
get
in.
you have to get talking to dark waters, and if you because some guys don't spar, some guys will spar, but they'll spar light. So then when it comes to a fight and someone's rocked them, they don't really know how to react. Where
Yeah.
I've been knocked. The only time I've been knocked out is in sparring. I've been dropped in a fight, but I've never been knocked out in a fight. You know what I mean? So I understand what it's like to be in the dark waters and what you gotta do to get out of the dark waters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's nothing that's going to get you ready for more than experiencing it. Because
To
what you don't
understand it
want is
all.
to be in a professional competition and then you feel something that you've never felt before and you don't know how to react to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's a different world when I'm looking at it. It's pretty full on.
It's different, man. It's not for the faint of heart. I mean, a small amount of people can say, you know, I enjoy this.
Yeah, definitely. So, you said you got into it at what, like 11 years old.
Yeah.
At what point was you thinking to yourself, I'm actually really good at this, and this is something I want to do for a living?
Mate, when I was British champion when I was like 13.
Wow.
And then, so obviously back in my amateur days, everything was tournaments. It was tournaments.
Yeah.
We had like 3 fights in a day or whatever. And I was champion like 3 different weight brackets.
Yeah.
Like year after year, like 3 years in a row I was champion. Then one of the years I broke my leg, so I had to take a year out, and then I came back. The guy who like the guy who I fought when I broke my leg, I fought him again.
Yeah.
He knew what I was coming to do, and I was coming to hurt him anyway, regardless. No animosity there, but we had to get handled. So we got dealt with. And I was, yeah, it's just crazy. And I feel like my amateur career was probably harder than my pro career.
Really? I
Yeah,
suppose
it was,
amateurs that they have there's a lot of fights. You know what I mean? I know
a lot of fighting, man, a
especially.
lot of fighting.
Yeah. So as
And
you turn
especially
pro.
when you're a kid, when you're a kid as well, you forget. Like, I wasn't very big. I was big, but I wasn't big. And then obviously the weight brackets I'm going into, I'm
Yeah.
fighting some big kids. I'm 50 and I'm fighting kids that are like 17 and they're massive. I'm thinking, damn, like, this the guy I'm fighting. I'm thinking, you're looking around thinking, who's in my weight bracket? And then you see this big guy, you think, nah, he's not in my division, man. He's not short, he's not black. And you're looking across
Yeah.
me thinking, damn, what's the game plan here then, lads?
Yeah.
It's one of them, man. But yeah, I was overcame it, man. It was a tough one, man. But we did it. We got through it at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's dude going up against bigger guys and stuff like that. It's got to be all good experience, and
Yes.
it gets that fear out of you. So then when you do come up against it, and I suppose, if I flash forward a little bit, and we can talk a little bit about the 8-man tournament, the Road to Glory competition that you went into. It's a great example. So I was thinking about this before I started speaking to you, and I was like, I know you came in late for that, so I take it somebody.
We did us a favour.
You did it as a favour, yeah.
Yeah,
So
man,
somebody dropped out, you came in.
nah, originally you only had 7 months. Like
All right, okay.
The guy who showed it was called Dean Sugden. Is basically we're more like we're like a proper fighting family. So we're all together as one basically. So we've always been close. All his sons are fighters. I train with his sons. My trainer sponsors his sons, and then yeah, man, we're just tight. That's how it got done. So we got close like that, and then obviously he put on the Road to Glory show to then connect with Glory to then help UK fighters sign with them.
Yeah.
And that's how it came about. So he had 3 tournaments in Road to Glory. He had the 65 kilo one, the 70 kilo one, and then obviously the 85 kg one. I tried to make the 70 kilo one, but struggled to make the weight. So I had to come on and stop on that one, and then we got an opportunity to go into the 85 kg one.
So, but when you went into that 85 kg, you weren't that weight though, were you? You was up to 20 pounds lighter than some of the guys you were fighting.
When I weighed in, like they had like 10 kilos, 12 kilos on me anyway, because I weighed in when I weighed in I was 81 kilos. So,
Yeah.
I wasn't even 85. I wasn't even 85 anyway. So
after hydrating and stuff.
Yeah, no, man, I didn't even dehydrate. That was me. Like normal. I just jumped on the scale. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I weighed in. Everyone else was struggling to make the weight, and I'm just jumping on like, all right then. So,
right.
And there were some big guys, man, big guys.
Yeah. So I've seen some of this. So first fight, so you come in late, you do it as a favour. First fight, you're up against the favourite of the competition, right? Is it Louis King or Lewis King?
Yeah, Louis King.
All right. So you go in. And how are you feeling about that? Because you're like, I'm coming in here late. I'm fighting a bigger guy. Who is the
I'll be
favourite in
so
your?
honest with you, man. I was scared.
Yeah.
Scared, mate. Like I thought, you know what? Obviously, I knew. I thought, you know what? I've got nothing to lose. So let me just take it as an opportunity. What will be will be. If you
Yeah.
win it, we're in glory. If you don't, cool. People can't say, "Oh, my ducks from this first," and you do. I will fight anybody anytime.
Mm.
I was scared. Man. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. We got in there. Obviously, he was a favourite. Um, as soon as I felt his punch, I thought, you know, nah, I can take this, man.
Yeah.
Started smashing his leg,
Yeah.
and that was it. He never felt anything like that in his life.
No, I've seen the way it was
Literally
going
never,
down when you was
ever.
hitting it, and obviously you seeing that and you capitalised, kept hitting him like upper thigh kind of kicks, and
Yeah.
eventually stopped
He
him.
went.
He went down, didn't
He
he?
went, mate.
Yeah.
And I watched that video numerous times. They talk about 7 kicks to get into that stage in a minute,
Oh,
and that was it.
that was it, man. Though that's the thing. So you're going off the back of that. You know, you've come up, like I say, you're a lighter guy. You're coming up against a favourite. First round, first fight, or first leg of this competition. You go in and you stop a guy like that, and which is classed as a TKO, I suppose.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, so I've beat the best
Confidence
one.
is due, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
confidence is there. That's it.
So
Confidence is there.
how did it
Second
work? So
fight.
was this all in a day, or did you come back like the next day to do the second fight, or was it a week later, or
Nah, all like same night. That was it.
same night? I mean,
Yeah,
that's tough.
Same night, man. Same night. So what did I have? So I had about 15 minutes. So the first fight, then I had about a 15-minute rest, and then I had to get warm again for the next one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that's crazy. And I mean, that's going back to what you were saying about the amateurs and stuff like that compared to being professional
Yeah,
and whatever. It's
same
like you're
thing. But
fighting
yeah,
constantly. You
constantly.
don't, when you're going into these pro fights, I take it, you've got a good team around you.
Yeah,
You've got training camps. You know what I mean? You've got
yeah,
a lot of time to get ready for it. And then you just go in and fight one fight on the night. You don't,
yeah.
So
With a tournament though, I feel like with a tournament, some guys you can have the best guy, but then they can't really like they're not good in a tournament. But a single fight they could do it. Like if me and Louis King fought again.
yeah.
He might beat me, you know what I mean? Just because there's no pressure of trying to preserve yourself for another fight again,
Very
you know what I
true.
mean?
Very true. And he might
So
not have
you know what I mean?
stood
That's
as
what
you
it
know.
goes.
Did you know this guy before? Did he know you?
Nah,
So,
I never know.
I suppose he's going into that fight thinking, well, this guy's coming sort of last minute, He's lighter, he's smaller.
When I mean everyone, this is the funniest part. When I was at the venue,
Mm.
one guy was talking to me, and then he was there in the line for the medicals, and everyone was like, "Yeah, man, you know what? Like, I, I'm like, I like the way that you just stepped in like this one, even though you're a smaller guy." So everyone like they did kind of underestimate me at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
But,
I suppose people
but
you've got to have respect for that. You're going to think he's a light guy, but as much as they're going to think they've got some power over you, at the
yeah,
same time, I suppose you might hold a bit more speed over them. Do you
yeah,
think that played into you?
I don't think it was that. I was literally just an all around better fight. I was better than all of them.
Technique
Technically,
wise, and yeah.
like that was it. Like I was technically more sound than all of them. Like that was literally it. It wasn't like the power. Like I literally was just technically better than all of them.
Good, good. So let's continue on this journey then. So second fight, you go in and fight what? Jordan Smith.
Jordan Smith,
Was that was
big,
that was that
tall,
your
6'2".
toughest?
He was just tough here because he was massive, and his game plan was, if I can get out of the first round, I'm just gonna lie on him and clinch him, and just get him tired. Which is what he did. You
I
know,
don't
'cause
I don't think you could do too much clinching though in Muay
no,
Thai.
you can't. No. In K1, in Thai boxing, it's clinching heaven, mate.
Hmm.
In kickboxing rules, it's 3 seconds active and break.
Right.
Because you got to think, yeah, the whole reason the K1 or kickboxing rules were designed is to literally have 3 minutes, three rounds of just pure, fast-paced, aggressive action. Whereas in Thai
Yeah.
boxing, it's about scoring the points and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's about it. Whereas kickboxing, you just go in there, kill or be killed and go home.
And I suppose
Whereas in the face,
it's for it's for entertainment for the people that are watching as well.
entertaining,
Yeah.
yeah.
But in kickboxing you can't use elbows, right?
Yeah, so no elbows, but you can still use knees, and so that's the reason. No clinching, no elbows.
Right.
Some organizations allow the sweep, some don't.
Okay. So I like the elbows. I think that's such a great tool.
I do, yeah, I do as well. That obviously, I've had elbow wars, mate. I've been in a few fights. I've just had elbow heaven.
It's the best way to cut somebody open. Definitely.
Yeah, it is 100%. If you get it clean, it's done. And if you get a proper good one, like broke the eyebrow or something, oh mate,
that's it. I mean,
just on the court.
As I say, man, I like Tony Ferguson, and I like the UFC. I like Tony Ferguson. I like the way he fights. He uses his elbows a lot. Gutted that the UFC was it 249 against Khabib. Man, I thought he was going ahead. Dana White gets an island and goes all out to do. Like, I don't care about Corona. I'm just getting this on. Like they cancelled that fight 4 times before, and then Disney put a stop to it. That's what makes me laugh. You look at Disney and you think of like Mickey Mouse, and you got Dana White, head of UFC, and you think Mickey Mouse has stopped that fight.
I've heard Dana White is he wants to put shows on because Disney. I think Disney's going to pay him like a couple $100 million to put so many shows on. I think he wanted to put on like 42 events this year. So I think he wanted to have it where.
I think it's because
Saturday.
I think it's because Disney own ESPN, right? And UFC with ESPN now. So
yeah.
All right, let's not digress too much. Tell me more about Jordan Smith. Tell me about that second fight.
Jordan Smith, obviously the game plan was the same for me. It's always the same, just go in there, pressure. Obviously he came on the first round, and then he must have gone into his corner, and then they said do this, and this, which will literally just go in there, try and nullify my attacking, which is either just clinch me.
Yeah.
After literally for the next 2 rounds, try to clinch me and score the points, man. So obviously I was just the aggressive guy. It was a close fight. To be fair, it was very close.
But you won a majority decision, like.
Yeah,
so,
due to me just pressing forward.
Yeah. So sometimes I suppose it depends on the referees, the judges, and what they're seeing. Yeah. But sometimes trying to smother somebody, putting them in a clinch and stuff like that. It's not really if you're an aggressor versus that. So majority decision, and then what you go into a final, which is from what I understand, you wasn't fighting the guy that you were supposed to be fighting. You fought the guy that lost in the other semi-final.
Because you couldn't continue. Yeah.
So this is how brutal and ruthless it is then. The guy that fought and won in the semi-final, he was too bust up to go and fight in the final.
Yeah, and then the other guy thought, you know what, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, he took his chance. And
took his chance on Wednesday, it never happened because his leg was gone anyway.
Yeah.
And we knew that's what I'm going for. Automatically, that's what I'm going for. I'm going
straight
for
in there. Ruthless.
Whether I don't get it in the first minute, I'm going to get it in the second, regardless. Whether it comes now or later, it's going to happen.
Man,
you know what I mean? And he was a banger as well. He was a heavy hitter.
Yeah, but you just
very heavy hitter.
Just walk through them, or you just went straight for that leg.
Went for the leg, man. Just went for the leg. Used my front kicks a lot.
Yeah,
kept him at bay, and then just smothered his leg, man. He made out the first round. I could have stopped him in the first round, but he made it out luckily, and then got him in the second, man.
Second round, and that's it. And you win a multi-fight deal in Glory, which is notably the elite kickboxing organizer. Yeah. So I mean that's pretty awesome, man.
But hands down, that is the best. Oh man, that's the highlight of my fight too.
I can imagine. I mean, do you know what it kind of makes me think of as I'm like listening to it? One of my favourite films, Bloodsport.
Yeah.
I used to love that. And Van Damme, it was the same kind of thing. That it was a Kumite. I know people had different styles and everything, but it's that all those fights in one night. It's like a knockout competition. You get to the final, and it's kind of, I don't know. It's hard to even imagine.
Man, listen, the boss afterwards, I felt like crying, mate. It was that deep, but I felt like crying. I thought, no, I've come in as this underdog, and I've just done that. It's not like I've won. It's not like I've done all the rounds. I literally stopped 2 of them, and then
you pretty much breezed through it, though. This is what I'm trying to, it's kind of building that story that you're coming in late. Yeah, so you've already kind of got it against you. I mean, I suppose you're in good shape anyway.
Yeah.
But you're still coming in late to something that somebody else has been preparing for a long time, and you're lighter than the people that you're fighting. These guys are heavier, so potentially hitting harder. You're coming first fight against the favourite of the competition,
Yeah.
and you stop him. You know, you get a decision on the second fight, but the guy's, you know, he's not really going in for the fight. He doesn't want to take it to you,
I really don't want it.
and then you stop the guy in the final. So it just look. I don't know. I'm making it sound easy, and I'm sure it wasn't. But of all those things stacked against you, it's like you just came in there and breezed through.
Breeze through, man. I literally the day before, I literally was preparing myself to literally do all the rounds. Everyone, I thought, you know what, cool. Let me just breeze. Let me just make sure I win every single round against every guy. I didn't think I was gonna stop anyone. I just thought, you know what, whoever I'm fighting, I'm just gonna make sure I'm sticking it on you.
Yeah, and you just want to win them points, just look like the aggressor, that kind of thing.
Yeah, let's get the aggression, let's get the rounds in, man. Whether I'm tired or not, man, let's push it. But clearly it didn't happen like that.
I mean, that's awesome. So, you go to Glory. You've won a multi-fight deal. When they say multi-fight, do you know how many fights that was, or is that something?
It was. So the first contract was a 2-fight deal, but then they extended it after my first fight anyway.
Okay.
2-year deal.
Nice.
So I didn't even manage to start. So I didn't even finish my first contract. They wanted to keep me anyway. I was like, sorted then. It's hard.
That was good. So I know you went. Your first bout was in the Netherlands. Notorious for just beastly kickboxers.
In general, man,
yeah. Verhoeven, obviously, he's a heavyweight champion in Glory. The likes of Alistair Overeem from K1 days, big fan of his. Ernesto Hoost. Yeah, there's so many that, I mean, I'm not even, I don't even, I can go back a little bit, but
surface, mate, you can go back and there's hundreds of them, mate, hundreds of them.
So you're going in against, who did you fight in that first bout?
I fought the first fight, I had a German guy called Danny Traore. He was like 6'3". Tall, man. Tall, I mean, seriously tall, really.
And to put it into context, I suppose, what are you like? You're about 5'10", 5'11"?
5'11".
5'11", yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in my division, I'm not even that big anyway. I'm quite small for 77, but making 70 kilos is a struggle, man. So 77 is for me.
So it's classed as welterweight what you're fighting in, right?
Yeah.
And so how's that fight play out? That first fight at Glory?
Tough fight, man. Firstly, because I was just nervous anyway. Just because I'm on the stage where I've always wanted to be. So the whole week was just stressful. It was just a stressful week. Just
I can imagine.
Thinking, what if I just flop this first fight and then they want me no more? Thinking I've poured this hard work in for so many years to just let it go. So it was that. So I was battling with myself all week. Fight night was just, the nerves were just kicking in, chronic. It was chronic.
I can imagine.
It was different, man. And then the fight came. I was still nervous, even when I kind of like felt his power. I was still nervous. Thinking,
nervous actually in the ring.
Oh man, yeah.
So usually they say like, when you're walking out or when you're getting ready, but eventually you kind of get into it and then your nerves kind of go. But and I can understand why, because this is kind of like in your head the biggest fight of your life. Yeah. You've reached the pinnacle of kickboxing. You're fighting at Glory. You've got your first fight. You've only got a 2-fight deal. So what you've got to impress. In your mind, you're saying we've got to get this done. Which is obviously quite detrimental because you're adding extra pressure onto yourself, which you don't need to do.
No, you don't, but because it's something that I've always wanted, I just did it anyway. I thought, I need to do this. I have to do it. I have to just get it done. One way or another, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Got the win, man. It was a split decision. But again,
a win's a win.
To me, just being the aggressor again.
And especially, like you say, when you've got that much pressure on you, it's not like you're a veteran at these fights. At this time, you're like 24 years old. You're not even close to your prime. That's not even close. And so to go in there and just get a win in your first fight, it's
I was happy, man.
Yeah, definitely. I can
Like,
imagine.
even though I underperformed, I was still happy that I got a win. I wasn't interested. That's what It was my first fight on the world scene.
Yeah.
It was literally my first fight on the world scene, and I got the win. So I was impressed, man. I was happy with myself.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, I know. After this, you go to Miami, right? So we're gonna go. I'm just gonna keep
Oh,
talking.
mate, downhill after. Mate, I was fuming. Yeah. So my second fight was in Miami against Troy Jones. Um,
But
I was
before you go into the
shaking big
fight,
time.
though, before you go into the fight, I mean, the fact is, you're fighting in Miami. You know what I mean? Like at this point,
Mate, that's the first time I've been to America,
listen, I've never been
That was
to
the first
America,
time.
and this is what I mean. Like I'm gonna be happy and be buzzing when I actually get to America just to see it and stuff like that. You're going to
Yeah.
America as an athlete to compete in the biggest
Where,
kickboxing organization. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I want to talk about, rather than going into the fight and stuff like that. I just want to talk about the fact that I know you're a Derby guy. Derby's a small town. I'm getting a lot of people on these podcasts from Derby because Derby's full of talent. People don't realise we're so
talent.
small and we're
Yeah,
full of
yeah,
talent.
yeah. But people don't want to get interested in Derby. So we have to get out there one way or another, man. We have to work hard to get to be known.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. So, and I know that you grew up on in a small council estate, just the same as
Yeah,
myself.
man.
You
Yeah,
know,
man.
you don't
Yeah.
ever dream of these things really, and then for you to get to Miami to be fighting in glory, that's a dream come true.
Dream come true, man. You have to manifest it at the end of the day. Like people, yeah, you can dream about it, but you have to manifest
You
it.
do have to
You have to see it
manifest it. I
happen.
love that.
You know, so I also dreamt it and I manifested it at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
And this is what I'm about as well, positivity and all that kind of thinking, that manifestation. Last podcast, I had a lady on, Victoria Kleinsman, and she's all about
Yeah,
that positivity. She's manifesting all these things, and she's literally, turned her life around. And that's what I hope people get out of this podcast and hearing you
yeah,
for where you are now and what you've achieved. The same with the likes of Sandy Ryan, who I've had on the podcast.
yeah.
These people, they're manifesting this stuff. They're thinking positively, they're going in, they're getting things done. We're all from Derby, we're all from
All
Derby.
from Derby, man.
And there's more of us out there. But yeah, so you get to forget about the fight, but how in the lead up to the fight, I take it they fly you out there, they put you in a nice hotel, they feed you.
Yeah, mate. Obviously, how glory do it is obviously you don't pay for nothing anyway.
Yeah.
So obviously they pay for your visa. I've got a working visa anyway, so I've got a 2-year working visa.
Mm-hmm.
They pay for that. Obviously, flights, hotel, whatever. And then when you get out there, you get $500 for the 5 days, just for your food and all this. So, oh mate, so you're out there. We stayed in a hotel in downtown. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just different, man. The vibe was just different, mate. I just can't believe it. I thought Miami, first time in America, and I'm going to Miami
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's for free. It's all paid for. I think so. So I'm sitting on this plane. I'm thinking,
You're pinching yourself.
like, bro, what's going on? I'm MIA, mate, like for free. And then I get there, and it was just different, man. It was just different, man.
And
How you see it on all the films on Bad Boys and everything, it's literally how it is.
exactly how it is, yeah. And I hear that
Exactly
a
how it is.
lot about America, but I mean, it's just one of the things. Like you're sat on that plane now, and you must be thinking, like, my dreams are literally coming true.
No, I'm thinking I made it.
Yeah.
'Cause at this point, my confidence is slowly building up now because I'm from the course, my second fight in glory now. So my confidence is slowly building. So I'm not just thinking about the fight. This time it makes you thinking about
Hmm.
I'm going to America now. So I'm chilled out. I just in it.
So how long was you there before you actually fought?
5 days.
So when you got there, did you have a bit of a training camp? I know there's no camp in 5 days, but at least a
Obviously,
coach.
when we get there, obviously I'll go my training anyway. So how glory do it? Until you're in like the top 10 or top 5, they're gonna pay for one person to come out
Okay,
with
yeah.
you. So obviously, me and my trainer, Wayne Kirk. So obviously we go out there. When we get off the plane, we don't go sleep. We literally just wait until it's obviously their night time. Then you go sleep in it. So we get off the plane, get all your stuff, find your room, we train for a bit, get a little sweat on, all of that.
So you're just hitting mitts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You get
mate,
into a
man, nothing
gym.
too crazy. Just get caught up. Every hotel they've got is go to they make sure they have a gym.
Okay.
So if you quite wait and whatever, or you need to have a little sauna or whatever, it's always there. So yeah, you find a gym, find a little spot. put your sweatsuit on or whatever you're wearing and just hit the pad, man. Nothing too crazy. Because you haven't sort of done. So it's alright, man. Like, just getting more slept.
So what do you do then? I know. Obviously, with regards to fighting, you're sparring and things like that. You're hitting mitts and stuff. But do you use weights when you're working out? Do you do a lot of cardio? Talk about your diet and nutrition a little bit, because I've seen pictures of you, man.
Diet and nutrition. I eat everything. Innit? But when I mean like my diet is literally balanced. It's literally half crap and half good. So I at least have a balanced diet. I literally eat anything and everything.
But that's okay then. That's okay, especially for somebody like yourself.
It has to be, man. It has to be, man. You can't just live off grass.
No, definitely not.
No, don't work like that, mate. The way that you train, you need your sugars, you need your fats, you need your good carbs, you need your bad carbs. You know what I mean? You need to have that balance. People don't understand.
Yeah.
That. People think a balanced diet is literally just eating broccoli.
Yeah, broccoli and chicken, plain chicken breast, boiled.
That's it, yeah, I think never, mate.
No flavour.
Never you give me that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, again, going back to the last podcast that I did, there was a lot of talk about that nutrition and not, and I suppose the sort of mental side behind it of the restriction and stuff, and how that actually affects you, because you restrict yourself and it just doesn't work, because eventually you go out and have a blowout, you have a binge and all those kinds of things.
You know what it is? Social media has ruined like the nutrition, and people just got people doing crazy diets and all that kind of stuff. I think just eat your crap, eat your good stuff, and you're good to go.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, it's money, isn't it? That's all it is. It's a money maker. All these diets, they're making so much money.
People doing some mad diets, like some keto diet or whatever it's called. I'm thinking,
I tried it.
You got people doing diets with no carbs. I'm thinking, you're mad. I would never do that.
Mate, I tried it. I tried it myself. I did it while I was boxing as well, and I was boxing quite a bit. I don't know if you know Clive Ferrell, used to box down at his gym.
Yeah.
And I went on this keto diet. Don't get me wrong, like I looked slim. You know, I lost a lot of weight. I was trim.
Well, I can imagine you felt sloppy.
I was weak. I was so weak. Yeah.
You need carbs. Like people understand, you need carbs. Like, you can't function without carbs. That is your long-lasting energy. You need that.
And I found that out the hard way. But this is the thing, you know, you get sucked in by this stuff, you know, and you think you know stuff, and you're reading things online. So you think you're reading the right things. You're looking at somebody who's shredded, somebody who's massive, or somebody who's really tiny, you know, depends on what you're looking for. And you're reading their stuff, and, you know, either they're making money out of it, or they're manipulating it so they actually don't look like that in real life, or you know, they're not feeling great about themselves, but they're just on, you know, almost anorexic or bulimic or something, and it's like you get sucked in by it and you believe it. So, you know, people really need to take
that's one thing I have never ever listened to any foolishness online, man. None of that.
Well, put it this way: if you know, you've just said what you said there. You said that you have a balanced diet. You'll eat well, but you'll also eat a bit of crap. If anybody wants to know what Ammari Diedrick looks like, Google him, and you know, you don't look too bad. You don't look too shabby, mate. You know, not quite. You're not quite got as many abs as me, but.
Hey, listen, right now, I'm not even training like that, and I've still got my abs. I think I'll do like this all year round.
Yeah, but that's it. You're doing things right, and obviously you're training a lot anyway. So. Are you lifting weights and stuff though?
Now I am just through sheer boredom. But obviously for my strength, like I used to do wrestling a lot now.
Okay.
So I used to wrestle, and that is where the real strength is. If you can lift up someone who is high, who is putting all their force into you, you can lift them. That's the real way. That's the real power, man. So wrestling, that was my thing. So I was wrestling like 3 times a week.
Okay.
3 minutes.
Yeah, putting a lot of pressure on each other. But this sparring stuff, like, it's, you know, it is, you know, I don't look at it like you have to go to the gym and do running and stuff. You know, like boxers. The way I would see them sparring compared to the way I see you sparring, it's totally different. It seems to be like a totally different thing. Cardio is different.
I think boxing, you know what it is? I've trained boxing as well. Boxing sparring is weird, man. I don't know. They like to get guys who are below them just to be them. I'm thinking, you don't learn like that. Whereas in our game, you'll find someone on your level better.
But you're rarely wearing head guards or anything like that either. You know?
No, we don't wear head guards, man. We're going
and you're kicking each other. You know, there's so many extra aspects in there.
If you get kicked in the head, you get kicked in the head, innit? Like, that's your fault.
Learn the hard way.
You have to learn the hard way, man. That is it. If you're getting kicked in the head, you're getting kicked in the head.
True.
So your hands need to be tight, man. That's why you spar, to make sure these things are happening in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sparring's fake in a sense. You know what I mean? It's not the real
Yeah, I mean,
thing.
I suppose. Yeah, I know there's a lot of different takes on it, and how you should get ready for a fight. Some people like to spar, some people don't like to spar. But I suppose that comes down to your skill set as well. You know, if you're really good and you're very defensive, and you know you feel like you're good enough not to have to spar, and you can avoid enough shots. But I think the people that are sort of maybe especially like yourself that are more aggressive, more coming forward. I suppose you're going to have to start getting used to getting hit a few times as well.
Yeah, because that's my style. If that is your style, you have to do it. Because I am literally a pressure fighter, and I'm not going to be one. That is literally that is my aim, to be known as one of the most aggressive.
Do you feel like there's longevity in that? Going forward, like
not really,
you're 25. You're still young. How many shots to the head do you want to take? Like, surely at some point you want to try and maybe get a little bit more defensive, be a bit more tactical as you get a little bit older. And
when I start, to be fair, when I start having headaches like every day, I'm like, it's time to start. But you know what? To be fair, like even on a push fight, my hands are tight. Nothing gets through, man. Really, you know what I mean? Obviously, sometimes it does, but on the grand scheme of things, nothing gets through, man. That's why I have the confidence to walk forward, because I know my hands, my guard is tight.
You see, you've got a high guard as well. I've noticed that. Yeah.
High, mate. It's tight. So I feel like that's why I've got a lot of confidence going forward, because I know nothing's getting through. If you kick me, kick in my arms, whatever. They hurt. But as long as you're not hitting my head.
That's very true.
You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, keep that head right, man. Keep them stopping them shots against your head, because obviously that's where
you don't
want that CTE in the later days of your life, man. No. Definitely not. So, right, I'm gonna go back to so you're in Miami, second fight. You've got Troy Jones. Now I know from your reaction straight away when I started talking about Miami, and you that was it, downhill from there. And do you know what? Okay, you lost this fight. You can explain a bit about the fight if you want. I don't know if there's any sort of reason why you feel you lost it or what.
Oh, I lost it, man. To be fair, I lost it literally just from not doing what I wanted to do. If I went out there, bear in mind, this guy was scared. Like after the fight, he literally said, "You don't even understand how much research I've done."
Yeah.
So he knew what I was coming to do, but I didn't do what I was going to do. I should have literally gone out there, touched gloves, and gone out there and pressured it from the get-go, but I didn't. I was trying to outthink someone who's a thinker, whereas me, I'm not a thinker. I just going there.
He definitely comes across as a smart guy, this Troy Jones.
He's a smart guy, man. He's very smart. He's not a superstar. I tried to... So that was my mistake of literally going in there thinking, cool, you know what? I'm going to make this a chess match and try to outthink it, where clearly not. I should literally go in there and just pressure them, because even though like the fight lasted one round, I still managed to. I had him on the rope from the get-go.
Yeah, I did see that.
He was on the rope on the get-go, but I just didn't capitalize on it. And he seen that he saw an opening, and did the cleanest body shot, mate, and that was it.
It was a good body shot.
It was my fault.
You got back up though. You got hit with a couple of shots before you actually, before the ref waved it off. But I tell you, when he hit you with that body shot, he was like, you could feel it, and that was it.
I looked at my phone. And I said, you know what? Why? It's finished. Because he's a finisher. He's someone I can finish off for. It's done.
But
let me get up. Let me just see what goes on. Let me keep getting up. See what happens, isn't it?
Well, at least you've got the heart of a lion, man. You kept going. But do you know the way I see it?
So hard, man.
Troy Jones at the time is ranked number 5. Yeah, he's ranked number 5 at that time. When you go into fight him,
I got thrown in the deep end straight away.
So it's a baptism of fire, really. You've got through one fight, and then you go against ranked number 5. It's and the guy's what at the time 30 years old. He's in his prime. You're a young fighter. You're new to the organization. You know what I mean? The experience is on his side. Everything's going for him. Ranked number 5. There's nothing. You can't beat yourself up about something like that. You've got some experience.
No, I don't mind it, man. I don't mind it, because at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to come for him. I will come for him again. But the thing that's going to be on my side is
exactly. You still got that youth. You still got time, experience.
I'm getting stronger with me. So you know they're gonna come for it, man. You can take that win for now. Have it, cool, but I'm gonna come for it.
Who,
I will.
who's the number one guy at the minute? Who's holding the welterweight title?
French
Yeah,
guy, Cedric
yeah,
Doumbé.
Cedric Doumbé. Yeah. So,
Yeah, he's the king right now, man.
but again, how old's this guy? How old's he? He's like 30 or something.
He is, yeah, he's like
Yeah,
28,
so them
29.
guys at the top, I don't think you reach get close until you're like 27, 28, and then
Nah, I'm not there yet, man.
so
Nah. You have to understand that. Like some people try to rush to the top, man. I'm not rushing my career, man. At the end of the day, I've got a long time
yeah,
left. You
how
know, I'm trying to stay. I'm trying to fight until I'm at least late 30s, man. You know, so I've got a long time. I'm not
yeah,
rushing it.
definitely, and that's the thing. And I want to know
If the opportunity comes, I'm gonna
how
take
you
it.
react from this. I know, like, so obviously you had that loss to Troy Jones there, but again, like I say, it's one of those fights. It's you're fighting. You've got thrown into the fire there, fighting somebody like that, and then I know your third fight in Glory, you also lost, but as long as people stick, because one of the things is there's a big thing now about, and especially around boxing and stuff, it's a big thing about being an
Oh,
undefeated
mate,
person.
it's being
Yeah,
unbeaten. Yeah, I don't
it's
understand.
ridiculous.
I personally don't understand it. It's Mayweather's kind of like set that little
Definitely.
trend to fight, but I'm not gonna give anyone that undefeated status yet because you've had 20 fights here and you fought 17 guys who just come out of the
Exactly.
public. They don't really count. They don't count because I know guys who are joining me and they say, "Yeah, I've got a job, and my job is to go down and down." So I'm not really. I can't give you no respect mate, because you don't
No.
fought anyone. Whereas in my game, if I lose, I lose. But I know I fought
Yeah.
everybody and everybody. That's why I like. That's why people like K1 because it was literally everybody fighting
Yeah.
everybody. Everyone
Yeah.
lost. There was not one person in the game who wasn't beat who didn't get knocked out. Everyone got stopped.
The best of the
Everyone
best
lost.
were losing.
You
Yeah.
could have been, yeah, that was it. You could have been a champion one year, the next year you're gonna get beat. That's how it was going
That's one of
on.
them things though. When it's the way it is,
Yeah,
when it's so
man.
aggressive, when it's just two
Bound
guys
to, mate.
going at it. There's no. It's not about tactics. It's not about the Mayweather as he
Nah,
got
man,
older
literally,
and picked his
literally about
fights, who he
killing
wanted
them.
to fight and used his different. I'm not taking anything away from Mayweather because his defensive skill was amazing, but he was very clever in who
Yeah,
he picked. There was
but he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's
look how
doing.
long
He's
it
smart.
took him to fight
He's
Pacquiao.
smart.
You know what I mean? He waited for the right time, and
Long, mate. Yeah,
he
he knows
made
what
the
he's
money.
doing.
And there's so much that goes on, and so much that comes with being undefeated. But I actually think there's a lot of fighters that I see, and I think a loss would do this guy good. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
there's always
yeah,
there's always that room for improvement. We learn
yeah,
from our mistakes. We can't get better
yeah.
if we don't have these sort of hurdles to get over in our lives. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You're going to
100%.
lose a fight, you get
As
down, you
life's
got
a hurdle, my life is
yeah,
a
exactly. You
hurdle.
got to pull yourself back up, and you got to go again. And you're
Start
gonna
again.
constantly you're gonna learn from them things. You're gonna take something very special to find somebody you know who can just go through everybody undefeated. I mean, the prime example, somebody like John Jones, I can think of who. A little bit of
Yeah.
controversy around John Jones. I don't know what you believe, but
Oh, he's
yeah,
got a
I
lot,
mean,
man.
a lot outside of the cage, but I mean, especially with the all the sort of microdosing with the steroids and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's another story. But I mean, as far as talent, and when you look at somebody who's undefeated that's fought the best people, John Jones really has. Do
He's
you know what
done
I
it,
mean? He
man.
didn't.
Yeah,
He didn't. He's
yeah,
not one of
yeah,
these,
yeah.
like you say, like somebody who's fought 20 fights, won them all, but 18 of the
But
people were
nah,
just
he's for
nobodies. Yeah,
everybody. He's for everybody. He's literally is everybody
the
and
the
anybody.
list is
Literally was from a young age. So he could you could say if you had a list of pound for pound, he'd have a number
yeah,
one on his
definitely.
list.
Who
You know what I
who
mean?
who would you
Because
say
literally for
otherwise?
everybody. In GSP,
Yeah,
man, I could say you could say or Demetrius
Mighty
Johnson.
Mouse. Yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah.
then so he get me, but the only reason he didn't get that recognition is
Because
because
of
of
the
the
weight
weight.
class, and I
No
suppose
one
at the
knows
same
it.
time though,
That was it.
there's not as many notable people in that division as there
Nah,
is, in the
that's
light
it.
heavyweight
Yeah,
division. The people
yeah,
that Jones
yeah,
went through, your Gustafsons,
yeah.
your Daniel Cormier, um, you name it. I mean, obviously some of these later, but going back, even before all these guys, there's just so many of them. There
You
was the
couldn't beat anybody. Yeah,
biggest names in the UFC, and he was taking all those fights, and he was beating them all.
yeah. From a young age, man, because he was in UFC from
Yeah,
21.
I mean that's super young.
So young, mate. Young when you're fighting literally the top guy.
Yeah, all the way. Barely had an easier fight. I mean, I even remember the Vitor Belfort fight, and he basically had his arm snapped.
God, mate, his arm was actually
The way it was like.
There's no way.
It was
There's no
hyperextended.
After that fight, my arm's right. Never.
It was horrible, and he didn't tap, and he carried on, and he beat him. His fight, Chael Sonnen, Rashad Evans, you name it. There's so many on his list. Like I say, DC twice, and then all these young cats coming up now. I mean, obviously, to me, it's kind of getting to the end of his career. But unless you're something super special, take away everything outside of the cage that he's done, like somebody like Jones. I think you can learn a lot from your losses. I mean, what's your take on, do you think you would ever go into MMA? You said you've done some wrestling and stuff like that. Do you think you would consider that?
100%. Like, 100%. I feel like once I know I've done enough in this game, I'm gonna cross over. Like, I need to be a world champion at least once or twice. I want to be a world champion and defend at least twice. And then, like, you know what? I've achieved this.
I like that, man.
So yeah, man. End of the day, I'm not gonna rush and say, yeah, you know what? Let me just go into MMA because there's a lot of money there. No, man. I want to build my name. I want to be a
legend. Yeah, definitely.
I need to achieve. I need to solidify myself in this game first before I even think about crossing over.
Well, at least you've got some of that wrestling. You've got a bit of background there, man. MMA, that's the trouble. It's like, have you done anything else? Have you done any jiu-jitsu or?
Yeah, like literally, I'm like 90% of my team is at MMA fights.
Okay, cool. So
like my team is literally an MMA team, innit? Like we literally have everything there. So we've got our Thai boxing side, then we've got the wrestling side, then we've got the jiu-jitsu side. So we are literally a proper MMA gym. Properly, we're not just a MMA thing where we got one coach that does kind of like blends everything in. We each have a specific coach for Thai, for wrestling, for jiu, you know what I mean?
So it's there. At least you've got people there. You've done a bit of it already. You can start transitioning once you like you say. I mean, I like that. I like that you're already in your mind. You're saying, I'm going to get to champion status. I'm going to defend it a couple of times, and I want to do that transition. And whether it be something like Bellator. I mean, UFC is the pinnacle. That's where you want to be. And it can definitely be done, especially, your background. I think stand-up game, coming up, having that stand-up, and I know that it takes years to get the jiu-jitsu right and stuff like that, but if you just only do jiu-jitsu or only do wrestling, when you're stood up with somebody like yourself, if you get kicked in the leg, that's it, you're going down.
You're getting your head finished, mate. All you need in an MMA game is, if you're a good striker, all you need is that good take down defense and good jiu defense. Be smart enough not to stay on the ground. Be smart enough not to let someone just grab you. For once you can get away from them, or then you're fine. You know what I mean? If someone's coming in for a knee, make sure you try and knee them or something, or hand on their head and move. You know what I mean? Just be smart. Don't get taken down by someone.
I mean, that's it. You've got the striking there already, so I think you're coming in from a good background. I mean, you look at the likes of Crow Cop, like I said earlier, Overeem, Wonder Boy, Adesanya, all of these guys, man, they all came from that background. Yeah,
striking background, mate.
Even Mark Hunt, man. How can I even forget about Mark Hunt?
Oh, he was a different one, man. Yeah, he was an original different
beast, absolute beast. And he's never ever like how much he's against steroids and stuff. Because I know back in the day, like it was massive. So everybody was on him, but
massive. Yeah, back in K1 days, because in Japan they don't care. If you can fight, you can be one.
Japanese just love a war, though, don't they, man?
If you want to juice, you can juice. As long as you fight,
take what you want.
Look at Bob Sapp.
Oh my God.
Look at Bob Sapp, man.
I know, that's crazy, though.
He just had that stature.
Watching him was so weird, though, because he used to go down and he was almost just biggest guy you've ever seen.
He was crying in fights, man. He was crying in fights.
When he fought Ernesto Houston, that was ridiculous. Like, I don't even know how he won that fight. He was getting beat up.
Just because he's big. Look at the size of him, mate. You got to think one crazy swing from him to your jaw.
But he was getting beaten so bad and he was crying and everything.
Bastard, and that's what banging and crying. And then just giving the swing and that was it.
That always makes me laugh. I always think about, did you ever, Shannon Briggs talking about the time when he went into kickboxing? He did kickboxing or MMA. Yeah, he got kicked and he was like, "Oh, Chep, I'm telling you, Chep, I never felt nothing like that, champ. I wanted to. Yeah, he wanted to stop. He wanted to quit, but he's like, he did the same thing. He just bang, he just threw one big haymaker, knocked the guy out, and that was it. But he was like, he felt those leg kicks, and he went, I'm not doing this again. Not a chance. And that's why it always makes me laugh when I hear these, when the whole McGregor and Mayweather thing, and it was like, oh yeah, they'll do Mayweather versus McGregor in a cage. I'm like, no, they won't. McGregor will kill him in a cage.
No, he doesn't want that. He's not stupid. He's not stupid. Mayweather is not stupid. Defensive skills ain't gonna help you when someone's kicking you.
It'd be like chucking a deer in a lion's cage, man. It'd be just stupid.
Yeah, literally will be like that. The boxing defense is not working.
You can't.
Someone's either gonna grab you and smash your head in, or
they're just gonna take your legs out, and then you're gonna go down, and then they'll ground and pound you. And,
what I mean?
It's a different,
It's game over, man. In this game, it's about resilience. Like, is it?
I mean, it's a long time. It takes years and years to sort of get to that conditioning to be able to take that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I've seen these guys kicking trees down and all sorts, man. The legs are conditioned, the shins.
I don't get that. You see that? I don't understand that, man. I personally get to the point.
But I don't know.
Your shins are gonna get. Because after a fight, your legs are gonna hurt regardless, mate. Whether you kick trees or not. Because when you connect him bone on bone.
I know. That's horrible.
I mean, in my last fight in Chicago, I broke my shin. I didn't realize. Yeah, broke my shin. I didn't even realize.
Mate, that's horrible, though. I remember, there's a few fights I've seen where the leg's been hanging off and stuff like that. When it happened to, oh God, what's his name? I can't remember. I don't know. I can't even remember his name. Anderson Silva. Oh God, that was one of the worst ones I've seen. And he went to stand back down on it. And it just went underneath him, backwards. It's horrible thing to happen. But that's the risk that you're taking. Though. It could happen.
When you take the risk, man. It's happened to me, Marco. I'm saying I broke my shin in the fight in 2010. Snapped my shin, and I stepped down, and I thought to myself, my leg's gonna snap.
But that's how.
It wasn't. It was
that's how you check a kick, though, isn't it? You turn your shin into theirs, isn't that how you check a kick?
Nah, what happened? Yeah, what happened when I did it? Me and the guy kicked at the same time. On the side of my shin caught his kneecap in it, so I ended up a lot worse.
But that's what I mean, though. Even when you're checking a kick, even that's not good. That's gonna hurt.
Nah, you can feel it. Yeah, nice. But when you're in a fight, you don't care. It's not cool, whatever. After the adrenaline's on, you're thinking, damn.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine, man. I don't know. I feel one of those, and I'll be down. I'll be crying. So.
Yeah, it's different. When you think about it, shin on shin, mate, thinking, what am I doing, mate? What am I actually doing, man?
Right. Okay. So listen, it's been a pretty long one. So I tell you what, we're going to do now. We're going to wrap this up, and we're going to go into the quiz. I'm going to let you say. You're not very good at quizzes, and make all the excuse.
Obviously, no, I'm not. No.
Everybody says it though. Everybody says it before it goes.
Not gonna lie to you.
Right. Okay. Let me tell you this. So, first two guys on the show had Aaron Summan, who's a personal trainer. He got 2. Dwayne Hayden is a singer friend of mine. He got 2. Sandy Ryan got 3. Then we had Steve, who got 5. So Steve's actually in the lead, and then Victoria went on last. She got 4. Where do you think you're going to sit in that table?
I feel like it's going to be a flop, mate. I feel like you're going to come to me with the maddest quiz. I feel like it's going to be a flop. I feel my brain's frying already,
This is a guy that steps in the ring and kicks people for a living and gets kicked and punched.
That quiz, my brain is frying, mate.
Listen, I think you're going to do all right. I'm going to, I'm not going to say you're going to get this score or that score, but everybody says the same thing. That's why I asked you before, because everybody says, "Oh, I'm not very good at quizzes." And do you know what? They get into it, and they actually do pretty well. So, what I will tell you now, and this is probably the reason why the first couple of guys got 2, because I probably should have helped them out and said, "Look, if you don't know it, just pass and let's go to the next one." But if you don't know it, just say pass. We'll get straight to the next one, because there's a bit of time in obviously me reading the questions, which wastes your time. If I fluff anything, which I did on the last one, I'll give you an extra question at the end or something like that to make up for it. All right, so you ready? Let's go. How many different teams have won the Premier League since it started?
went straight to football. I went with a football guy.
Which swimming stroke is named after an insect? Well done. Insulin is commonly used to treat which condition?
Insulin.
Insulin, yeah.
Insulin or insulin? Oh my God, what do you use insulin for?
What is the highest number used in a Sudoku puzzle?
I'm going to say.
Close. What is a female deer called?
Oh my
Rio de Janeiro is a city in which South American country? What type of food is basmati? Which artist sang the lyrics, "I'm never gonna dance again, guilty feeling, has no..." And the buzzer's gone, so I'm gonna finish this off for you. Which artist sang the lyrics, "I'm never gonna dance again, guilty feet have got no rhythm"?
Is this a proper obvious?
To me it is, man, but I'm a bit older than you, so.
I'm passing it, man. I'm younger, I'm a baby, innit?
George Michael, man.
No, I'm never doing that, you're baby. Under pressure as well. On the buzzer. George Michael, under pressure and on the buzzer. Yeah, I've never.
Listen, you started to pull it back at the end, man. I tell you.
I was thinking, I thought my brain was warming up. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling it.
It's just a little bit too late. I love that. When everybody's just getting warmed up, like, yeah, I've got this now, and then boom, buzzer goes.
I'm getting warm. The buzzer gone off.
Let me go through these. So, what type of food is basmati? You got that right. It's rice. You gotta know that. Rio de Janeiro is a city in which South American country? Brazil. Right. What is a female deer called? I tell you how I always remember this. Because my missus always she used to like musical. I don't know what musical it's from. Maybe Sound of Music. Doe, a deer, a female deer. So I don't want to sing too much, but because I can't sing for shit. But yeah, that's how I knew what it is. So it's a doe.
Oh, you know.
You was close with the highest number in the Sudoku puzzle. It's 9. So there's like 9 squares, man.
Shut up.
10.
Oh my thing.
Unlucky there. Insulin is commonly used to treat which condition? It's diabetes. You got the butterfly, which was the swimming stroke named after an insect. How many different teams won the Premier League since it started? You passed, man. You could have just done a guess. Have a guess.
What? Yeah, but when did the Premier League start?
92, 93. Yeah, you got to remember that Man United won it for majority of the first. I don't know.
Yeah, they won it bare times. I'll say about
6 teams won it. I think it's Man U, Man City, Blackburn, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Leicester. And that was off the top of my head, you know. I've not even got those answers in front of me, so. Yeah, I know my football though, so. Yeah, well, it's one of the things. That's what I would say to people. Like, you never know what you're going to get because it all depends on what comes out, what you know. You know, if I'd have dropped a load of questions about fighting, on top of the league. You need that. You have to get the mixture in there, man. Definitely. All right, well, do you know, one thing that people have told me about this podcast already is this is one of the main things they enjoy about the show, which it's a little bit of a kick of the nuts, to be honest. But to be honest, honestly, that's what they've been saying, and that's what people like, and I love that they like that, and they like these. They enjoy that part of it. So what I'm actually doing now, and I've spoken to some other people, is that I think at the end of this series, I'm going to try and get everybody back. I'm going to do split everybody into 2 teams and do sort of a big quiz, a guest reunion. So I'm going to ask you now. So I've got it live on this podcast, and I can hold you to it. Are you willing to come back for that?
Yeah, 100%.
I appreciate that. All right, Ammari, listen, it's been great having you on. It's good to get an insight into your life. No problem at all. Listen, I wish you all the best for the future. I hope you absolutely fulfill those dreams. Get into that UFC, and hopefully by that point, I'll be the next Joe Rogan. I'll be commentating on the fight.
You were multi-million about it, man. Yeah, he made it, man. Derby podcast with that, man.
All right, man. Defo, we'll have you back. So I just want to say thank you. Good luck, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.